Yep.
All right, Gus. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Hey, you're welcome, Savon. Glad to be here, man. Thanks for
Yeah.
having me.
Happy New Year. Before we dive in, did you get anything good for Christmas? Any good gifts?
Man, I always tell my people, I'm like, don't get me anything. I'm an adult. If I need it, I'll go and buy it. I work hard so I can, buy my own presents anytime I need. But they always surprise me. They always got a bunch of stuff. Maria got me some tools.
Yes.
For
Always
the gym,
working on the gym, right? Yes.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, so practical. Yeah. So I'm been looking forward to having you on the podcast all year. But you were super busy last year. And that's what we're going to talk about.
Crazy year, man. I know, like we've been postponing and pushing it forward and whatnot, but finally made it happen. But yeah, it's been a crazy year between recovering from my my open heart surgery that I had last year and whatnot, and on top of that, I've been slowly recovering. I've been getting back into jiu-jitsu and competition, and at the same time, I'm opening a second location as well, on top of managing the current location and ever growing. We're expanding and we're bigger than ever now. So it's been busy times. It's been good times, tough times, but tough times is what makes strong, man. So I'm happy to be here.
Yes, that's one of the things I want to talk about, even for listeners who don't compete in jiu-jitsu or MMA. But I want to talk to you about how you overcome challenges and how you push through and stay motivated and keep going forward in your goals and everything.
Man, like my life has been nothing but a fight. I know, I came from Brazil. We weren't a very rich family in Brazil, which is the reason why we immigrated here when I was 12 years old, and had to grow up very fast. I was telling Maria the other day, ever since I was 12, I was the only one who spoke the language in the house. So every problem that we ever had, I'm the one calling Comcast. I'm the one dealing with the airport. I'm the one dealing with this at 12 years old.
Wow.
So it's kind of forced to grow up a little bit faster than everybody else my age and whatnot. It was always tough, like long story, but like I didn't have papers here where I live in the United States for a very long time. 13 years I was illegal here, basically. My parents brought me here when I was 12 years old, and I was here until then. I eventually got my papers. I got married and I got everything right, and I'm a U.S. citizen now and everything. But it was a long journey. None of it was easy. Going to college, when I finished high school and I still didn't have papers, I was told I wasn't going to be able to go to college. Worked so hard in high school, had great grades. I wrestled, worked super hard, and then boom, you can't go to college because you're not a citizen and whatnot, which I understand, different opinions and whatnot, but also overcame that. We found a way. I found people that were able to help me, and we got through that. And
you were able to study business, correct? In
yeah,
college.
I went to Portland State University. I got a degree in business management with a focus on leadership, which worked out really well, owning the gym and leading my team through the years.
Yes. Yeah. So earlier you mentioned Maria. Maybe say a little bit about Maria for listeners.
So Maria is this like world champion female athlete that I brought back from Brazil. I met her here once before, and then I was like, there's no way that this girl, she works so hard, she's so talented, that she's going to stay in Brazil and not have an opportunity that she would have to have here. So I got everything in my power, put some money together, raised some funds, and was able to bring her here to the United States on an athlete visa, so she's able to stay here full time, train full time, compete full time, represent our team, and help elevate our team as well, because when you get to train with a world champion like her, and of course you're going to elevate as well. So it's been super cool, and I'm happy to be in a spot nowadays that I'm able to give back to not just my community in Brazil, but my community here as well.
Yes. Yeah. And Maria coaches at the gym.
Yeah, she helps out.
Yeah, and she helps out. It's amazing. I've been training in jiu-jitsu. Next month it's going to be 21 years that I've been
21 years
doing jiu-jitsu on and off, right? But Maria, she's a world champion athlete in jiu-jitsu. She toys with me. So if you are a woman or a girl thinking about training jujitsu to improve self-defense and be able to handle yourself, I definitely, and you're in the area, definitely encourage you to train with Maria, because she's just amazing. She just toys with me when I train with
It's
her.
it's one of my best sales too. People come in there, giant 215-pound man, strong, muscly guys, and then they just get tossed around by this 160-pound, 170-pound female, and they're just like, "What is going on?" And I'm like, "Well, welcome to jiu-jitsu, where we use leverage and technique to beat power and strength and whatnot." So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yes.
On
Yeah.
top of that, she's just an amazing girl too. The more you get to know her, it's just phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal person.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, before we talk, I could talk about jujitsu for hours with you, but before we talk about people who might be thinking about training jujitsu, I want to go back a little bit to your story. So you did wrestling growing
Right.
up in high
Started
school.
out wrestling in high school. That was super fun, super tough. I became like I really needed. I was very soft before doing wrestling, not very tough, and that toughened me up a little bit. And then after wrestling, I kept going to college. I did a little bit of weight training for a couple of years, but that was just not enough for me. I wanted more. And then I saw my buddy Johnny, John Bartlett, fighting at the FCFF, same place you fought at, I fought at. And I was like, whoa, I think this is pretty cool, man. I think I could do this, and then I signed up to just to do it just for fun. And then 6 months later, I was like, man, I am hooked. Coach, give me a fight. I want to fight, and then turned out I did end up not fighting for a whole year after that. And then I was able to finally start fighting, and I fought nonstop. I fought for 10 years straight. My first 7 years, I was undefeated. I won, I think, 11 fights in the world before I lost my first fight. It's a lot of fights, a big deal. I was the number one amateur ranked featherweight here in the Pacific Northwest, and I went pro. I had a good pro career, but just a tough world. MMA is a different animal, and in the pro level, even more different animal.
Yeah. So, what were some of the lessons that you learned, training jujitsu and wrestling early on, and then like how did you handle like that first defeat?
Um, like in wrestling and jiu-jitsu, you lose all the time. There's no like, I don't know there's anybody that doesn't lose, so losing was not really a huge thing for me. It was okay. After my first loss in MMA, it kind of took a lot of pressure. Imagine 7 years without losing in MMA.
Undefeated.
And then I finally undefeated,
Yeah.
have never lost a match, like 11-0. And then it was like, I just I'm not super emotional about things like that. Like some days the guys are just going to be better, and that night, my opponent was a little bit prepared. He did some things that I wasn't doing, and he got the win, and we went from there. I came back and fought again and fought again and fought again. Like I said, like my whole life's been fights, and there's always obstacles, and always, there's no dead ends. It's just what do I got to do to overcome that? So it's just another loss. I lost in wrestling, I lost in jiu-jitsu. I was never the best in wrestling, so losing was like, okay, well, I got to work harder. I'll train harder, and I'll just keep going.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's funny because as when I wrestled, I was just an okay wrestler. I never really got good at wrestling until many, many years down the road when I was actually doing jujitsu. So
That's amazing because or especially in your MMA fights, your wrestling is kind of like the extra sauce that you have to your game. Like that's the edge that you usually have in jujitsu matches, is you're just a better wrestler in your
you would
highlights.
think, right? But I beat
Yeah.
guys that were like higher caliber wrestlers. They were college level wrestlers. They were better than me, and I was just, yeah, it was just an MMA thing. I think it was my timing and my speed and my dedication that set me apart from a lot of my career in my amateur years. I was very serious. I was always all in. Like MMA was my life every single day of my life. Everything I did, from my sleep to my eating routine to my sleep routine to what I did outside of the mats, was all directly involved to it. Like, does this affect my MMA career? Is it going to make it better or not? So if it not, I'm not doing it. If it is, then I'm doing it. That's kind of how I saw my life back then.
Okay.
A lot of sacrifices. It was very tough. I'm not gonna lie. I don't miss it. I miss it, but I don't miss it.
Yeah. So you were super motivated, super focused and very disciplined. So maybe you might, it might be, and that's why you were a champion, and that's why you had championship belts locally here in different promotions. But as not everybody's like you, so what would you say to someone who struggles with motivation and discipline? And you coach folks that aren't like gonna try to be an MMA champion. So
Right.
like
Yeah, it's very hard. I have this talk with people all the time. It's very hard to teach discipline, to teach people how to follow a discipline and whatnot. But the best way to do it is just you have to make a promise to yourself and you have to follow through with it. Most people, they're not able to do something like that until their life literally depends on that. When I get a lot of clients and they're older and they're like, my doctor told me I have to go to the doctor and start, I have to start working out and go to the gym. Otherwise, I'm not going to be well, and that's a life-changing thing for a lot of people. And then all of a sudden they have the motivation. It's like, did it really take the doctor to get you motivated to make yourself feel better and whatnot? Um, it's just, it doesn't come overnight. Nobody's motivates overnight. It's over time. You have to keep coming in. It helps finding a good community, like people that are there with the same mission as you, so you're not fighting this battle alone. Because I'm not gonna lie, it is a tough battle, especially if you have no clue where to start. Like I've seen people fail over and over again because it's hard. It's hard to get in shape, to be self-motivated. But on some days where you're lacking and your buddy is not, and you have somebody to push you, you have your coach and whatnot. Or obviously, if I'm fighting MMA, that's literally my life is on the line. If I go out there and I get crushed, I get hurt, I'm going to get hurt. I'm going to pay a price. I've seen people get their jaws broken and go into $90,000 surgery debt and whatnot. So I've always took it very serious in regards to MMA and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like, and even when it's not life or death situation, if you try to set your mind like it is, we're way more capable than we think we are.
Yes. And that's one of the things I enjoy most about jiu-jitsu and training with people and seeing people like develop the skill in jiu-jitsu. It's almost like a superpower, right? Right. Like and it's just one of the most fun things to see kids like realize how capable and strong they are. Because I see it like when I come early and I see the kids classes from wrapping up, you kind of see the little ones that you could tell they're just kind of shy and quiet. And then I don't see them for a couple months, and then I see them again, and they're having fun, and they're just like a lot more confident, on the mats, and they're like having fun playing with the kids there in the gym.
Man, I don't know what motivates me the most anymore, if it's my own accomplishments or what I'm seeing that these kids, just some of these kids have been with me since they're 4 years old. Now they're 14, 15, and how far they have come, and like just not just how much their jiu-jitsu technique has gone, but just their personality, their work ethic inside and outside of the gym, how they've changed in school from becoming like problem kids in school where their teachers had issues with them all the time, and now they're like the example kids in school. Jiu-jitsu is, and Joe Rogan said this, it's one of the best weapons for optimizing human performance, and I truly believe that. From little kids to adults, we get the little 4-year-olds who come in and don't even know how to run yet, and we get them moving. We teach them how to move first, then we teach them jiu-jitsu moves, and then we teach them how to do jiu-jitsu. And same thing with these adults, many adults who, I don't know what happened, people stop playing, they stop moving once they get older. I guess they get busier and their health is not as important, like, and then we get them moving again. We're doing stuff that we did as kids, bear crawls and crab walks and frog jumps and stuff like that, and to get these people moving. And 6 months down the line, they're like, wow, I feel really good. I have all these new friends in jiu-jitsu now. So, and then obviously, as 5, 6, 7, 10 years down the road, life changing for many people.
Yes. Yeah. What you said about doing it together, like finding a community, is so important, because like I was trying to stay motivated and work out at home, and like since this last summer, and like I can't do it. I can't do it on my own. Like jiu-jitsu is too much fun. Like I already work 50-55 hours a week. I don't want exercise to be work, more work. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of play. And it's it's not just fun and games. It's developing like a really practical skill.
Oh, the problem solving
You
is
know,
huge. It's a huge thing for kids. Like, oh, I keep losing to this person because they do this one move, like, what do I gotta do? What do I gotta do? And then I'm gonna keep trying. I'm gonna keep trying. I'm gonna keep trying. And eventually, I'm gonna find out what the counter is to that move, and then I'll beat him for a little bit until he finds a counter to that move, and then I'll have to find that counter for that move, and so on. Our brains are always thinking, and it's like I tell the kids, right? So I get them hooked. I'm like, this is the most fun video game you guys are ever gonna play. You get to beat your own character. You get to decide how good or bad your character's got to be. Every single one of you have special abilities, and your character's gonna be like that. Some of you are little and fast. Some of you are bigger and stronger. Some of you are smarter. Some of you are slower. Some of you are faster. And that's all going to affect in your jujitsu and how well your little video game character is going to be.
yeah.
And
Oh,
they're like, oh yeah.
I like that. I like that. That's and that applies to adults too,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
So like
Absolutely.
I'm short and squat, so I have developed a style, a game
Mm-hmm.
of jujitsu, and then sometimes I'm trained with uh people who are like they've got their long thin arms and long thin legs. I'm like, oh man, you're just built for choking people and like doing triangle chokes. Kind of like sometimes I'm jealous of the people's body type, but you just got to accept yourself, right?
Yeah. Well, you got to
And
find your style. And at
maximize
the
your
same
strengths.
time that they're lengthy and they're good for doing submissions, they're like, it's easy to isolate their limbs because their limbs are so lengthy and whatnot. So easier to catch a big, longer armor than it is to catch your little stubby T-Rex arms that you can't ever pull it off of your elbow. So you just got to know how to use your own special tools, against their special tools and whatnot. But yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's uh that's one of the the things that makes jujitsu an very creative artistic expression, and it just makes it so fun. Um the I want to shift gears a little bit, Gus. uh to pick your brain a little bit about being an entrepreneur and a business owner, because some of our listeners that they're not going to be interested in jujitsu, but they want to be more successful in life, or reach their goals, achieve their goals. Can you tell me a little bit about like how you adjusted to like the shutdown, the pandemic, and like how did you survive as a business when a couple of years ago when everything closed down?
Yeah, that was a scary moment, man. Like, they told it was going to be 2 weeks that we're going to close down. And I was like, you know what? Let's close down the gym for 2 weeks. Let's do the right thing. And then those 2 weeks turned into a month, and then it turned into 2 months, and it turned into many more months. And it was definitely tough. Right off the bat, we lost about 40% of our members, like,
Mhm.
boom. I understand people like they lost their jobs as well, so they couldn't continue to pay a membership. And obviously, you're not receiving a service. A lot of the new members didn't have that connection with me yet, so they just ended up freezing or canceling their membership. And then, fortunately, I have such an awesome community in our gym, and um, like I said, I've been with some of these kids since they're 4, 5, 6 years old for like 6, 10 years now, and their parents have seen me raise them. So when
Mm.
when COVID hit and I had to close the gym down, I still had 60% of the members, continue to pay their membership even though they weren't training and whatnot. Um, that was awesome. That was like heartwarming, and I felt really valued, like I'm so happy like I put all this work into these people and they actually remembered it when I needed them and whatnot. So that was a good time. We did everything that we could still. We were making videos online. We were offering like private lessons online. We were showing techniques online. I was doing storybooks for kids online. So everything that anybody suggested and anywhere on the internet or in person, I was like, I gotta do it. I cannot let this business fail. I cannot let my life's work go down the drain and
Mm.
whatnot. The same attitude that I had for martial arts, it's the same attitude I have for my business. Like I'm going to do what I have to do. Like yesterday, I worked from the moment I woke up till 11 at night, just writing up stuff, getting my ads going for the first of the year, getting the gyms ready, all my online presence, all my groups, all my members and set up and whatnot. But nonstop work. Like
Yes.
it's not, it's, go ahead.
You've been doing this for 10 plus years and you're still working hard.
Oh, I'm still working hard. I just don't post about everything, that all the non-fun things that I'm doing. People only see the fun things, my travels and my gold medals, but like the tip of the iceberg, you know, like all the hard work, the nightless of sleeps, or the waking up early in the mornings, and you know, like the year I spent with my heart, 2 years that I spent throwing up every morning because of what was going on with my heart and whatnot, you know, and still having to go to the gym, still having to go to coach, still going out to compete, on the verge of having a heart attack and whatnot. And life still goes on, you know.
Man,
nobody cares. And those sad stories, they're not healing.
yeah.
My landlord didn't care. My rent still had to be paid during COVID.
So you were sick and you had heart problems for a couple years before they found out what it was. So can you say a little bit more about that? What was the actual condition?
The condition, I believe they decided to go with pericarditis. My pericardium is this little flap thing that hangs over your heart. Doesn't really have a use. Supposedly it protects it from stuff coming in it, but mine calcified. They didn't know why. They didn't know what happened. They didn't know if it was my fighting career, if I got hit here in some blood. They didn't know if I got COVID. They didn't know if I got bitten by some mosquito in Brazil when I was a little kid. The doctors had no clue. The only thing that they found out after doing tests on everything, had tests on my liver, my kidney, all these kinds of tests. They did a echocardiogram and they found my rhythm of my heart was not beating right. And then that's when we found out this is why I was swollen. I got up to 190 pounds, you know, like super uncomfortable. I usually weighed 160 pounds. So I put on 30 pounds of swollenness, just water retention all over my body, which they found out was because of the pericardium that was blocking my heart from pumping all the way. So it was only doing half pumps and I was bloating up with water retention. Man. So doctor said, we don't know exactly what's going on. We're going to have to cut you open. We have a spot open next week. Do you want to do it? And I had been uncomfortable for so long. I said, yes, let's do it. So and it was like a few days before Christmas on the 18th of December of last year. So we got it done. It's a 6-hour surgery. They opened me up all the way. As soon as they opened me up, they saw the pericardium in my heart and it was all hard. They had to cut it out. So they cut it out. And as soon as they cut it out, my numbers on the screen for my heart, it went back to normal immediately. And then obviously they clogged me or stitched me back up, put some iron lines in there. And about 3 months after the surgery, I started moving around. I started going for walks. 4 months, I started kind of jumping into jiu-jitsu again and moving around. And then 6 months later, I was competing. Then I started medaling, and then I finished off the year with a 3rd place at the World Masters. You know, big deal, big tournaments, one of the biggest tournaments in the world and whatnot. So that was
third place in the World Masters no-gi competition, correct?
Yeah, black belt division.
Yeah, black belt division. And had you ever placed as high as that?
I had never. I've been 13 years trying to get on that podium. 13 years, and the 1 year I just was like, I'm going to do it just to get it ready for next year. This year is going to be my warm-up year, but all the stars aligned that day, and I was just on point, and I won the matches I needed to win. I walked out of there with the medal. It was pretty exciting times, you know.
That's amazing. It took getting heart surgery, getting your chest cracked open to get on the podium at the championship.
I went from never ever having broken any bone, never ever had a surgery, no arm, nothing, to like my first surgery ever is getting my freaking chest cut open.
Amazing. That's pretty amazing that you wrestled and did MMA and jiu-jitsu and didn't have any major injuries for over a decade.
Pretty crazy, right?
That's pretty good. As hard as you trained.
I didn't have health insurance most of my MMA career is the other crazier thing, man. I'm like, I must have some kind, I don't know. I must have some kind of angel protecting me or something. I've been very fortunate, very blessed my whole career that obviously I had Dr. Dan from the Burnett chiropractor that kind of kept me my whole career. Any little thing I go see him, and he kind of kept me in shape and
Aligned you.
guided me
Yes.
through it and whatnot, and recovering from the minor injuries, but never anything major and whatnot.
Yes.
12, 13 years down the road now, still feeling pretty good.
Amazing. So how old were you when you had your surgery?
So I was, I guess, 30, 32, 31. Yeah, 32. 32 years old.
Just 32 years old.
Super crazy. Yeah. Like
that's amazing.
Everybody at the hospital, they're like, usually 7-year-olds are doing this surgery. Like, what's going on? Like, my physical therapist, he was like, honestly, I don't know. I've been doing this longer than you've been alive. I've never had a combat athlete this young had open heart surgery and have to come back from it. Like, he's like, you're going to know better than I am when you're ready to go back, what you're able to do and what you're not able to do. So I was like, all right. And 3 months in, 4 months in, 6 months in, and here we are today. You know, I did 15 competitions in the last 6 months. So ever since I started training and competing, it was 15 different competitions this year. Some successful, some I lost. You know, some of them were just get my feet wet to see what my body was like. You know, but that Worlds one was a big deal. You know,
man,
after about that one.
That's amazing.
And on top of that, I've been coaching, I've been traveling, taking my students around, competing and whatnot, still managing the gym, training people to stay in the gym, and coaching coaches. And last few months that we opened up a new location in Oregon City. So I've been playing construction and doing all these other skills that I don't have and have been having to learn how to do and whatnot. But again, with the help of the community, we've been able to put the gym together. It looks amazing. We're just getting ready to open up our doors all the way now, Monday actually. So New Year's, we got a few specials going. Make sure you guys check us on our social medias and whatnot. So find out what those specials are.
Nice. Yeah. So the first decade, you're competing and developing yourself as an MMA and jiu-jitsu competitor. Now towards the last part, first part of your second decade, you're building your business. You're opening a second gym. So it really sounds like you're just kind of building and developing as a coach and business owner.
Yeah, that's kind of my plan. You know, I got off, obviously that was like my college, you know, my second college, you know, the College of MMA and business and martial arts, those 10 years in the business, doing it, living it on the inside, outside, being a coach, being a general manager and helping out with everything. And now, this next 10 years is going to be focused on not developing my businesses, developing my employees, developing my students, and the next generation who's going to be helping me run this. And obviously, probably other non-jiu-jitsu businesses as well. I'd like to hopefully diversify my income and have some more money. So in case of COVID ever hits again, I'm not just fully dependent on just my gyms, and I have a outside source of income that can help me out.
Nice. Yeah. Before we wrap things up, Gus, about adults or parents, that might be thinking about training jiu-jitsu or getting their kids into jiu-jitsu this year. I want to ask a little bit about besides jiu-jitsu, what are some of the things that you like to do to manage stress and unwind? Like, what are some of the other things that you like to enjoy outside of the gym?
Gosh, man, I'm very I'm kind of a goal person. It's like I almost cannot rest until my goals are met, you know. So I had these goals. I had to get Oregon City all the way done. So now that's done. Now I'm kind of relaxing. Like I tell my friends, if I won the lottery tomorrow, I would be doing exactly what I'm doing today. I'd be going to the gym twice a day. I'd be still owning both of my gyms. I'd still be there helping my community. I'd still be there training my kids and whatnot. Like this is fun for me. Like, believe it or not, I like to go to work. I can't wait till Monday so I can go see all my people in both gyms and whatnot.
You're not trying to escape work.
No, I'm not trying to escape work. I love what I do, man. I really, really love what I do. I like traveling, you know. I probably should travel a little bit more, not for just competition. I always try to do a tournament, and then I go do traveling after, but that's just kind of my lifestyle, man. I enjoy the lifestyle. I like everything that I do. When I'm not outside the gym, I mean, like everybody else, I'll watch a little bit of Netflix. Obviously, I like to spend time with my girlfriend Bree. My house, I play with my cats, hang out with my cats. I'm a cat dad. Enjoy seeing my friends, but most of my friends nowadays are all from the gym. They're all like my students. One, like, you see people every single day for 10 years. There's no way you just build that bond with them. That's different than anywhere else. That camaraderie is just hard to find elsewhere.
Yeah. I don't think I've told you this. As I was getting ready to interview you today, I remember the first class I had with you, the first time I met you. It was like 11 years ago. It was an afternoon class. Judo Bill, our buddy Bill, was there. It was just me and him, I think, and maybe one or two other people at 503 West Coast Jiu-Jitsu back then.
And no gi class.
Yeah, it was a no gi class, and I think you were a blue belt.
Yeah.
And but I still remember that.
Yeah,
that time.
Man, it's crazy. It seems like a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
Still got the tattoo of us right here on my arm.
That's so awesome, man.
Yeah. It makes me happy, man. It is our lifestyle. Every time we train, right there, fist bump like everybody else.
Yes. Yeah. The yeah. It ups and downs, and I haven't been able to be in the gym and be consistent, but I'm super proud of you. A decade plus, like, just how hard you work, the stuff that you overcome, not just like in the story of the stuff that you've done, but like on the mats, like you fight in absolute divisions with like people who are like 40-50 pounds heavier than you, and just your mindset psychologically, you have an edge, and even if you don't win, you just bring it every time. So it's been great.
So I said, like, fighting my whole life, and then I fought MMA. So going out there doing jiu-jitsu, that's fun, man. I go out there smiling. Like, I love that. Nobody's trying to kill me. My life doesn't depend on it. It's not a stressful thing. Like, I do it because I really like it and I enjoy. I thrive. I like the high of being in the spotlight of the competition, win or lose. Always an experience. Always a good feeling. Like, I wish more people could feel. Or I do help people feel that feeling. I'm always pushing people towards competition so they can understand what it's like. And at the end of the day, we train jiu-jitsu. We want to be ready for when it goes down. For being able to use it when there's an event and your heart rate is beating up faster, and you have to control yourself and you have to stay calm under pressure and whatnot. So tournaments are awesome. I think they're a huge part of jiu-jitsu. Definitely encourage people to do it, make it a complete part of it.
Yeah. So as we wrap up our conversation today, I just want to ask you for advice for an adult who maybe is thinking about training jiu-jitsu. What advice would you have for them as like a beginner?
So my advice is, you got to get in and you just got to do it. People think, oh, I got to get in shape before I go into the gym. I'm going to be embarrassed myself. I'm not going to know what to do. And I'm like, of course, you're not going to go and know what to do. It's your first day. You're supposed to be new. Give us some credit. We've been there for 10 years trying to do this stuff. But you have to start somewhere. And it's very hard to do it on your own. It's very, very, very hard. That's why it's so important for you to find a good gym, a good community, coaches that you connect with, people in the class that you connect with that share similar ideas with you, so that you want to come back and it's fun to come back. And it's not like oh my God, I got to go to the gym again. I hate going to the gym. It's like, no, dude, I cannot wait to go to the gym. Like, that's the feeling people should have and whatnot. And that's what our members are like. That's why they keep coming back. We've raised quite a few black belts now, and we have people getting close to getting the black belt soon too, and people that have been with us since the beginning. 2009 is when the gym officially opened, and we're going to 2022 now, and some of those guys are still there, and gals as well.
Yes, nice. Yeah. And then do you have any advice, Gus, for parents who would like their kids to start jujitsu, or maybe they're starting jujitsu and maybe they're like not having fun, or it's hard for them. Any advice for parents?
Yeah, so jujitsu is a marathon, guys. Like it's going to be a long journey. It's going to be a long journey. So it takes a little bit. So at first, usually those first 6 months, when you're doing something new, it's frustrating because you're not the best at it. You're not good at it, but you stick with it little by little, you're going to be a little bit better than the person you used to be and when you were when you first started. Um, you just have to stick with it. When you have kids, I tell parents all the time, I was like, 7-year-olds don't know what's good for them. If they got to choose, they would sit home, eat ice cream, and play video games all day. There's a reason why 7-year-olds don't get to make decisions. They're not in charge. You're in charge, parents. You guys know what's best for your kids. They might not like it now, and we're going to do our best to make sure they have fun in class so they do want to come back, right? But you have to tell them that it's their job to be there a couple days a week to work on their health. It's not your health, it's their health. They have to want to work on their health. They want to have to want to feel good and look good and have friends and be able to be physical and whatnot, and all the other benefits that come along with jujitsu. But kids don't know what's better for them. You have to encourage them. And sometimes some kids, you have to tell them that is how it is. You don't have a choice. And sometimes you have a choice and sometimes you don't have a choice. Over time, those kids always warm up to it and they always end up liking it. We make sure our program is fun. We're not like, rah, 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 you have to do this, sir, sensei. No, the program is fun so that kids want to come back and continue doing it. I know if 10 years, if they're having fun and they do it for 10 years, they're going to be phenomenal. They're not going to be phenomenal athletes, and they're going to be phenomenal people. They're going to be confident. They're going to be like confident in inside and outside the mats, and they're going to be able to problem solve in jiu-jitsu and outside of jiu-jitsu and whatnot, along the other skills that you learn that we try to pass on, and how to stay healthy, how to lead a healthy life and whatnot.
Yeah. There's a wrestling coach who has the quote that after wrestling, like everything else in life is easy. And I would say jujitsu is the same thing. Jujitsu, when you develop a skill and you learn the lessons of losing. And you but you're able to retain your confidence and your self image, and lose gracefully, learn how to lose gracefully, learn how to win gracefully, then like that translates outside the gym for sure.
Huge skills. Being able to listen to your coach, watch your coach, and then emulate the movement he did and follow directions and be able to do exactly like he did, and then sometimes improvise in the moment and have to change and whatnot. All of those skills, they add up over the years and whatnot.
Yeah,
see it over and over again. That's why I'm still here. That's why people keep paying me, and that's why they keep bringing me their kids.
That's a lot of fun. Yes, and I'll link some videos of the kids classes in the show notes, so people will be able to see what the camps look like. And then I forgot to mention, like your partner Bree, she has a background and teaches child development, early childhood development. So lots of your programs are.
Yeah, she has a master's in child development, so probably more often than not, we have discussions at home. I was like, hey, I have this one kid, what should I do? And she has like exactly how to talk to this kid, exactly how to address the situation, exactly how to talk to the parents. She is phenomenal, and I 100% believe a lot of the reason to our success in our program has been Bree's guidance in regards to our curriculum and making sure everything is age appropriate, and how to train our coaches, how to talk to the kids, how to train our coaches, how to talk to the kids, and all that goes along into making sure we have a solid kids program and whatnot, and all the laws that we have to follow with the state as well, which we try to follow everything. We're mandatory reporters, so we're watching the kids. We're making sure kids aren't coming in with injuries or stuff like that, and we have exactly ways to ask them to make sure we're not alerting anybody and not scaring anybody and stuff like that. So super thankful for her. She works for Head Start, so she full of resources, understands all the resources that we need, so yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. You guys aren't just developing them physically as athletes, but you've got the socio emotional development piece
Absolutely.
with that too.
Yeah,
So
we get a
yeah.
lot of homeschool kids too, man. And homeschool kids, a lot of times they don't get much social life, so they're a little weird. They just hang out around their parents sometimes, and then they end up being like their parents. And then when they hang out around people their age, they're different than them. So having something like an outside jujitsu gym like that, where they get to be with peers around their age, is awesome for them as well. So I've seen lots of good benefits for them, and they get to be part of a team. They get to travel around with their teammates and kind of have the same experience as the kids who go to regular school as well and whatnot.
Right.
Get best of both worlds.
I just laugh at the homeschool thing, because we're part of the homeschool community off and on throughout the years. So we get it. Like, and finding for kids and adults, finding something that you connect with, that you belong to, that's fun, that helps with your physical health, that helps with stress and emotional health. For me, that's why I'm planning on doing jujitsu for the rest of my life. And I'm biased because I love it, and I just think that even if it doesn't become your thing, I definitely encourage everybody to try it. And maybe you'll catch the bug. But even if it's not jujitsu, find something that is fun, that makes you think creatively and strategically. Find something that builds your confidence, and that gets you off the video games and the screens and off Netflix, for just to have a physical outlet in life, to be physically healthy. Gus.
I think it's really important for adults to know too. Like, the reason why I'm a little bit biased towards jujitsu is because as an adult, you can do jujitsu a lot of times without getting hurt. You can't play football. You can't go play basketball. You're going to bust your ankles. Tennis sometimes you can do, but your elbows are going to go down the drain. Your wrists are going to go down the drain. Like, you can't go play soccer. Your ankles are going to, after your 30s, But jujitsu, we got 50-year-old pluses at the gym that are doing jujitsu. And obviously they're not doing jujitsu like my 25-year-olds are doing jujitsu, doing crazy flying attacks and this and that. But they're moving, they're using their strength, they're sweating, and most importantly, they're still healthy. They're not getting hurt, So it's a form of exercise that makes you work hard, gets those what's it called? Those
Neurotransmitters.
Yeah.
Yes.
Releasing, it helps you feel good and whatnot. The same benefits as many other exercises, but not getting hurt. You can't be a 43-year-old playing basketball and busting your knees, but you can train jujitsu 3, 4, 5 times a week without getting hurt. We have proof. We have a bunch of guys doing it, a bunch of girls doing it, and obviously kids, they never get hurt.
Yeah, great. Gus, man, it's been so fun to interview you today. Any last thoughts?
Oh man, I talked a lot. We covered it all. But people can always reach out to me. I'm super available. I'm on Instagram, Banzai Bessa. I'm on Facebook, Gustavo Bessa, or manage like all the different social medias. You can reach me through any of them. The BTT Oregon City, BTT Happy Valley page. Yeah, I'm even on Twitter if you use Twitter.
Great. We'll link to it all. Thank you, Gus. I'm glad you not only survived the pandemic, but you're thriving. That that they found what's going on with your heart, and that you're recovering, and you're killing it on the competition scene, and also just grinding and succeeding as a business owner. So just appreciate you, and I'm grateful for the chance to train and learn jiu-jitsu from you.
Hey, likewise, man. Thank you. You already know how I feel about you. You're one of the original guys. You're one of the first guys in our team to ever step inside those cages at the FCFF. I don't know if people know that, but you're in my heart, original samurai. So I got a lot of love for you, and thank you for being part of our community and always helping us spread the word and bringing more people into our healthy lifestyle that we like to live.
Thank you. All right, let's have a great year.
Let's do it, bro.